What if the way you've been hugging her has been silently killing the attraction between you, and you never even realized you were doing it wrong? Most men walk through life completely unaware that their hugs are broadcasting weakness, hesitation, or discomfort instead of strength, presence, and desire. The truth is, the average hug most men give feels polite at best and awkward at worst. It leaves her feeling nothing. Sometimes it even makes her pull away emotionally before she's consciously aware of why. I'm about to reveal 4 things that almost no one talks about openly. These aren't just techniques. They are psychological truths about how touch affects a woman's nervous system, her attraction mechanisms, and her subconscious assessment of you as a man. What you're about to learn is knowledge that was never meant to be handed to you this directly. Touch is one of the most powerful forms of communication between men and women. It bypasses words entirely and speaks straight to the emotional brain. A single hug can make her feel safe, desired, protected, and magnetically drawn to you, or it can make her feel nothing at all. The difference isn't random. It's the result of specific behaviors most men were never taught. The first thing most men get wrong is the approach. Watch how most men hug. They either shuffle forward hesitantly, like they're asking permission with their entire body, or they lunge in too fast, creating tension and discomfort. Both versions scream uncertainty. A woman's nervous system picks up on that uncertainty immediately. Even if she likes you, that hesitant approach can kill the spark before your arms even wrap around her. The correct approach begins long before your arms move. It starts with your presence. You must walk toward her with calm, grounded confidence. Not aggression, not cockiness. Calm certainty. Your shoulders stay relaxed but strong. Your eye contact is warm but direct. There is no fidgeting, no nervous laugh, no awkward half smile that says, "I hope this is okay." This matters more than you know. From an evolutionary and psychological standpoint, women are wired to read a man's body language for signs of strength and emotional stability. When your approach is hesitant, her body registers you as potentially weak or unsure of yourself. When your approach is calm and intentional, her nervous system begins to relax and open. Think about the last time someone hugged you and it actually felt good. I'm not talking about polite hugs. I'm talking about that rare hug that made you feel truly held. The person didn't rush in, they didn't make it weird, they moved with quiet confidence and created a moment of real connection. That's what you need to become. When you approach her to hug, slow everything down. Take one deliberate step. Let there be a brief second where she sees and feels your intention. This tiny pause is incredibly powerful. It gives her nervous system time to anticipate the contact instead of being surprised by it. Women have told me in private that the moment a man approaches with this kind of calm presence, they feel their stomach flutter before any touch even happens. This is the part most men miss. They think a hug is just the physical act of wrapping arms around someone. But the approach is where the emotional charge is created. A weak approach ruins the entire experience, no matter how you hold her. A strong, calm approach creates safety and excitement at the same time, which is the exact combination that builds attraction. Here's something deeper most people don't understand. A woman's body is constantly scanning for safety. In today's world, many women carry tension from past experiences, from bad dating, from feeling objectified or disrespected. When you approach with hesitant or awkward energy, you trigger that tension. When you approach with grounded masculine presence, you help her body relax. That relaxation is where attraction grows. I've worked with men in their 20s all the way to their 60s who transformed their relationships once they understood this. One man in his 50s told me his wife of 27 years actually gasped the first time he hugged her with real presence instead of his usual quick, polite side hug. She later told him she felt something she hadn't felt in years. That's how powerful this is. The first thing is not about technique yet. It's about who you are being in the moments before you touch her. Are you nervous? Are you in your head? Are you trying to get something from her? Or are you calm, decisive, and fully present in your body? This is where the revelation gets uncomfortable. Most men are hugging from a place of seeking comfort rather than offering it. They hug because they want to feel close. They hug because they're hoping for validation. They hug while secretly wondering if she likes them. That energy is felt. Women may not consciously know why the hug felt off, but their body knows. And once the body decides something feels off, attraction begins to fade. The truth they never told you is that a hug is a statement. It tells her who you are as a man before you ever speak another word. When your approach is strong, calm, and intentional, you are silently communicating, I am safe, I am strong, I am here. That message goes straight into her subconscious and begins building attraction at a level most men will never access. But the approach is only the beginning. Once you've mastered how to move toward her, everything changes about what happens when your bodies actually meet. And what most men do in that moment is quietly destroying the very attraction they're trying to create. The next truth I'm going to share with you cuts even deeper into male and female psychology, and once you see it, you will never hug the same way again. The next truth I'm going to share with you cuts even deeper into male and female psychology, and once you see it, you will never hug the same way again. The second thing most men get dangerously wrong is what they do once their arms are actually around her. Most men give what I call the polite hug. It's short, stiff, and emotionally empty. They pat her back like they're burping a baby, or they barely touch her, as if they're afraid of breaking her or being accused of something. Others go to the opposite extreme and squeeze too hard, too fast, like they're trying to prove how strong they are. Both versions fail completely. A woman can feel the difference between a man who is truly holding her and a man who is just going through the motions. And that feeling decides in seconds whether attraction grows or dies. When you hold a woman properly, you are doing something far more powerful than most people understand. You are co-regulating her nervous system. Your calm, strong presence helps her body relax. Your chest against hers, your breath steady, your arms creating a container of safety. These things trigger the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, but only if it's done correctly. The right embrace has 4 subtle components most men have never considered. First, the pressure. It must be firm, but not crushing. Think of it as strong gentleness. She needs to feel your strength without feeling overpowered. When your arms wrap around her with the right amount of pressure, her body instinctively relaxes. She feels protected. That feeling of protection is one of the strongest foundations of feminine attraction. Second, your hand placement. Never put your hands too low too soon. The safe, attractive zone is her upper back and shoulder blades. This communicates respect while still allowing real connection. When a man places his hands too low immediately, many women feel objectified even if they don't say it. When he keeps his hands respectful but strong on her upper back, she feels both safe and desired. Third, the duration. Most men pull away after 1 second. That's not a hug. That's a greeting. A real hug that builds attraction lasts between 4 and 7 seconds for the first embrace, long enough for her nervous system to register safety, long enough for her to actually feel you, but not so long that it becomes awkward or heavy. And fourth, your breathing. This is the part almost nobody knows. When you breathe slowly and deeply while holding her, her body begins to match your breath. This creates a moment of deep synchronization between you. In that synchronization, emotional bonding accelerates. She doesn't know why the hug felt different. She just knows she felt something powerful. I need you to understand how serious this is. Most men are giving hugs that leave women feeling empty. She hugs them and feels nothing. Or worse, she feels slightly uncomfortable and doesn't know why. That discomfort gets logged in her subconscious as, this man doesn't know how to lead, or this man makes me anxious. Once that association is made, attraction becomes extremely difficult no matter how good the conversation is. The men who master this second principle report the same thing over and over. Women melt into them, they linger, they breathe out in a way that sounds like relief. Some women have actually gotten emotional after being hugged properly for the first time in years. That's how starved many women are for masculine touch that feels both strong and safe. This is where it gets emotionally heavy. Many men were never taught how to be physically strong and emotionally safe at the same time. They grew up believing that being gentle meant being weak, or that being strong meant being aggressive. So they swing between the two extremes and wonder why women seem closed off or uninterested after physical contact. The truth they never told you is that a woman's body keeps score. Every hug you give is data. Every time you hold her with hesitation or awkwardness, her body records it. Every time you hold her with calm, grounded strength, her body records that too. Over time, these records become her feelings about you. This is why some men can be average-looking, average in conversation, but women still feel powerfully drawn to them. Their touch communicates something most men never manage to say. You are safe with me. I can hold whatever you're carrying. And women desperately need to feel that. If you're watching this and feeling regret about how you've been hugging your wife, your girlfriend, or the woman you're dating, I want you to know it's not too late, but you must become honest. Watch how you've been approaching her. Notice if you've been rushing. Notice if you've been holding back. Notice if you've been making it about your anxiety instead of her experience. The second truth is this: how you hold her reveals how you see yourself as a man. If you hold her like you're afraid of rejection, she feels that fear. If you hold her like you're apologizing for taking up space, she feels that apology. But when you hold her like a man who knows his worth, knows his strength, and knows how to protect without possessing, something ancient in her responds. This level of touch changes relationships. It changes the energy between two people. It turns polite affection into magnetic attraction, but even the perfect embrace can be ruined by how you end it. And the third thing most men get wrong is exactly that: the release. How you let her go is often more important than how you first took her in your arms. Because the way a hug ends determines what she feels when you're no longer touching her. The next truth cuts even deeper into the psychology of desire, absence, and emotional craving. The next truth cuts even deeper into the psychology of desire, absence, and emotional craving. The third thing most men get completely wrong is how they end the hug. This is where the magic is either sealed or destroyed. Most men ruin everything they just built in the first 2 seconds of letting go. They either yank themselves away like they touched something hot, or they linger too long in an awkward, needy way that kills the tension they worked so hard to create. The way you release a woman from your arms is one of the most powerful moments in early attraction. It's the last physical impression she has of you in that moment, and her nervous system remembers it. The correct way to end a hug is slow, intentional, and controlled. You don't rip away, you don't collapse. You gently loosen your arms while keeping your presence strong. As you pull back, your hands should lightly trace down her arms or upper back for just a moment. This final microsecond of touch sends one last signal of warmth and confidence. Most importantly, you must look her in the eyes as you separate. This eye contact after the hug is devastatingly effective. When she opens her eyes and meets yours after feeling your strength and safety, something happens in her brain. The combination of physical release and emotional connection creates a powerful afterglow. She feels the absence of your body while still feeling the presence of your energy. That contrast is what creates craving. Women have confessed to me that the best hugs they've ever received left them feeling slightly unsteady for a few seconds afterward. Not because the man was aggressive, but because the hug was so complete that its ending created a small emotional vacuum. Her body literally missed the contact. That missing is where desire is born. Most men destroy this moment entirely. Some pull away while looking at the ground, ashamed or nervous. Some immediately start talking too fast to cover their discomfort. Some give that pathetic little back pat right at the end like they're saying, "Sorry for touching you." All of these behaviors communicate weakness and anxiety. A woman's subconscious reads it as, "This man cannot handle his own emotions, let alone mine." The psychology here is ruthless. A high-quality hug that builds attraction must end with masculine leadership. You decide when it ends. You remain grounded in your body. You don't seek her reaction or wait for her approval. You give her the full experience and then calmly return to your own center. This teaches her nervous system that you are a man who can hold her without needing anything from her in return. That single realization is incredibly attractive to women. I want you to think about the last time you hugged someone and then immediately felt the urge to hug them again. That feeling doesn't come from polite, forgettable hugs. It comes from hugs that were complete experiences, from the approach, through the embrace, all the way to a clean, confident release. This third principle reveals something most men are terrified to face. The quality of your touch is a direct reflection of your inner masculine development. A scattered, anxious man gives scattered, anxious hugs. A grounded, self-assured man gives hugs that feel like an event. Women don't just remember the latter, they crave them. There's a quiet grief in this truth. Many men have been hugging their partners for years in ways that slowly starved the attraction between them. They thought they were being respectful by keeping hugs short and safe. In reality, they were depriving their woman of the deep, masculine presence she secretly longed for. The relationship slowly became polite instead of passionate, friendly instead of magnetic. If you're in a long-term relationship right now, I want you to feel the weight of this. The next time you hug her, do it differently. Approach with presence. Hold her like you mean it. Then release her slowly while looking into her eyes. Watch what happens in her face. Watch how her breath changes. Many men have told me their wives suddenly became more affectionate, more playful, and more emotionally open after they changed nothing except how they hugged. This is the silent power we're talking about. The female nervous system responds to masculine touch that is both strong and respectful. When you master the approach, the embrace, and the release, you give her an experience she rarely receives. Most men are simply too stuck in their heads, too worried about doing it wrong, too focused on themselves to actually feel her. But you're different now. You're becoming the kind of man who understands that touch is communication. Every hug is telling her a story about who you are. The question is, what story have you been telling her? The fourth and final truth is perhaps the most important of all. Because even if you master the physical aspects of the hug, your internal state will either amplify everything we've discussed or completely cancel it out. This final piece dives into the mindset, the timing, and the deeper psychology that determines whether your touch builds attraction or quietly pushes her away forever. And once you understand this last truth, you will never touch a woman the same way again. And once you understand this last truth, you will never touch a woman the same way again. The fourth and final thing that most men get wrong is the mindset and intention behind the hug itself. This is the deepest layer. You can have perfect technique, but if your internal state is needy, insecure, or self-focused, she will feel it in her body and the attraction will collapse. The most powerful hugs come from a man who is giving his presence rather than trying to take something from her. Most men hug with an agenda. They hug because they want to feel loved. They hug because they're hoping she'll finally relax around them. They hug because they're anxious and need reassurance that she's still interested. That hidden intention poisons the entire experience. A woman's nervous system is extremely sensitive to whether a man is giving or taking through his touch. The correct mindset is one of calm generosity. You hug her because you want her to feel safe, desired, and emotionally held. There is no desperate need attached to it. You are offering your strength as a gift, not using her body to regulate your own emotions. This single shift changes everything. When you hug from this place of grounded intention, something profound happens. She doesn't just feel your arms, she feels your certainty, she feels your emotional control. She feels a man who has done the inner work to show up fully without needing anything in return. That experience is incredibly rare for most women, and it creates a powerful subconscious pull toward you. Timing matters just as much as technique. You don't hug her the same way in every situation. A hug when she's stressed and overwhelmed should be protective and steady. A hug when she's happy and playful can have more playfulness and lightness. A hug when saying goodbye should leave her with warmth and anticipation. The emotionally intelligent man reads the moment and adjusts his touch accordingly. This shows mastery. The men who understand this final truth begin using hugs strategically, not randomly. They know that a well-timed, perfectly executed hug can reset the entire emotional tone of an interaction. It can pull a woman out of her head and back into her body. It can deepen trust faster than hours of conversation. It can make her feel more attracted to you in 8 seconds than most men achieve in 8 dates. But this power comes with responsibility. Touch is sacred. The moment you begin to understand how deeply a woman can be affected by your physical presence, you must carry that knowledge with maturity. These 4 things are not tools for manipulation. They are tools for connection. The goal is not to make her obsessed in an unhealthy way. The goal is to become the kind of man who naturally creates safety, desire, and emotional openness in women through his presence. For the women watching this, I want you to hear me clearly. You now understand exactly why some men's hugs make you melt while others make you want to pull away. You now know what your body has been trying to tell you for years. Don't settle for mediocre touch. Don't normalize hugs that leave you feeling empty. You deserve to be held by someone who understands these principles. For everyone watching, this goes far beyond hugging. The way you touch is the way you live. The way you approach a hug reveals how you approach life. The way you hold someone reveals how much presence you can actually offer. The way you release someone reveals how comfortable you are with your own power. These 4 things are really 4 lessons in masculine development. Master them and your entire dating life changes. Your long-term relationship deepens. Your confidence in your body grows. You stop fearing physical interactions and start using them as a form of honest communication. The uncomfortable truth most men never want to face is this: many of us were never taught how to be in our bodies. We were taught to be nice. We were taught to be respectful by being small. But real respect includes showing up fully. Real masculinity includes offering strong, safe, confident touch. The men who learn these 4 things often report the same emotional experience. For the first time, they feel powerful in their bodies. For the first time, women respond to them with genuine desire and relaxation. For the first time, they understand why some men seem to have an unfair advantage with women even when they aren't particularly handsome or wealthy. It was never about looks, it was about presence. So, I want to ask you something personal. Which of these 4 things hit you the hardest? Which one have you been getting wrong in your hugs, and how do you feel now that you finally see it? Be honest in the comments below. Your answer might help someone else wake up to the same truth. If this video moved you, if it made you feel that uncomfortable but exciting feeling of real growth, then do these 3 things. Hit the like button so this message reaches more people who need to hear it. Subscribe and turn on notifications because we're going much deeper into relationship psychology, male and female dynamics, and self-improvement in the coming videos. And share this video with one friend who you know needs to hear this, whether they're struggling in dating or in their marriage. You now carry knowledge that most men will never have. The only question left is whether you're going to continue hugging the way you always have, or whether you're finally ready to touch with purpose. I'll see you in the next one. Become the man who knows how to hold what he loves.